Who's your top 5, the greatest MCs of all time?
Top 5?
Ooh, top 5 rappers of all time?
Top 5 MCs, ooh.
I didn't know I was coming to be interrogated.
Oh, don't do this to me.
If you want to start with the West, keep it 1 Thou Wow, Tupac, then me, Ice Cube, Too Short.
I'm programmed to say me, and me. That's my favorites.
Jay-Z, Nas.
Biggie, Black Thought.
So I always had to have Mobb Deep before a big fight.
I would say Curtis Blow, man.
I looked up to LL Cool J for his swag, his style, his fashion. Go with Lil Wayne. I'm gonna put Nip.
Ghostface Killer, Scarface, Killer Mike,
Foxy Brown, Queen Latifah, MC Light.
Chuck D for turning this thing upside down and all around.
It's so many people that was dope on the MIC, baby. I cannot reduce this to 5. I got 55, because I'm Fab 5, baby. Don't get it twisted.
Cheers, everyone. Remarkable.
It started at the bottom, but now it's here, surviving an era of doubt and fear. Its fear of influence grew far and wide as superstardom would take hip-hop into overdrive.
The growth of hip-hop was amazing in the 80s and the 90s. I DJ'd my first party in 1986, talking vinyl records and the whole 9. And then you get into the early 90s, and all of a sudden, all kinds of people who never rocked with us before are starting to inch up to the table. Hip-hop started to just be this undeniable cultural force, artistic, financial, that you could not turn it away any longer. We was in there.
Looks like you're wearing your signing bonus here. And plus we have we can see the nice primetime logo already, or what?
I think at this point, the athletes and the hip-hop heroes are feeding each other. There's a certain freedom of spirit in hip-hop that rubbed off on the athletes, particularly of the mid-'80s, late '80s, and early '90s, where athletes began to say, I can be myself.
Yeah, we got sweatsuits started, jackets started, everything. We got it going on here. Everybody got on jury. Even the baby got a little something. We ready now.
First of all, hip-hop is about being better than you. If you're gonna be an MC, if you're gonna grab this microphone, you gotta tell everybody, I am the best. And Deion Sanders was better than everybody. And he let you know it.
Atlanta Falcons first round choice, Deion Sanders, cornerback, Florida State.
I was kind of scared. I thought Detroit was gonna take me. I would ask for so much money that I had to put me on layaway.
I would prepare my statements before the game even started, because I know I was gonna have a good game.
What time is it? Showtime, prime time.
This is a city that was really honing in on his blackness from a political perspective, from an entertainment perspective, and he was the perfect draft pick for that city. He was flamboyant, he was braggadocious, but most importantly, he backed it up on the field.
He had on the EK glasses with the snake skin on the top. He had on the primetime jogging suit. He had on a bunch of gold. He had the curl going. He looked like a rapper.
Style, fashion, it was like, this dude could be the extra member of Run DMC.
MC Hammer used to come to a lot of the games in Atlanta, and he was a vital part of the Atlanta Falcons culture at that point.
Him standing next to MC Hammer, you might have thought MC Hammer was the manager and Deion was the rapper.
He's high-stepping from the 35-yard line. Oh, boy.
So many young black athletes in the early 90s, they looked at hip-hop as a reflection of themselves, and they found peace in a world that was changing so much around them. But I think one of the athletes that this reflected more than most was a young Shaquille O'Neal.
The Orlando Magic selects Shaquille O'Neal from Louisiana State University.
I remember seeing Shaq before he got signed.
New York, New York.
We was downtown Manhattan, and we was chopping it up, and he was like, yo, where you get your jewelry from? I said, yo, let me know, man, I'll take you over to the Diamond District. He was like, Diamond District? I was like, yeah, we go straight to the source. They wanted the jewelry we was wearing, and they wanted to get it from where we got it from. You seen, how, hip-hop was influencing, sports.
Not only was Shaq dressing like he was from the culture, he actually was rapping. like Shaq had albums out. He had songs with Biggie and, songs with Wu-Tang. And he had a hip-hop nickname, Shaq Fu. He was in the Fu-Schnickens video. What's up, Doc? Can I rock?
SHAQIEMOUSE.
With his album Shaq Diesel, that is still the only album from an athlete to ever go platinum.
He was a groundbreaker and a game changer in so many ways. He was not only a dominant player in the league, but a trailblazer in the fact that people questioned his discipline and his focus because he also had interests outside of basketball.
He's lovable. He's not scary, even though he's huge.
Orlando Magic.
And so he brought that aspect of hip hop into the mainstream and really made it safe and enjoyable and fun for the masses to come around and be like, oh, Shaq is down with hip hop. Maybe this is something we could rock with after all.
We like to play each other more or less in the finals.
Yes.
Yeah, that's more fun. Winner take all.
Venus and Serena Williams, first of all, they from Compton. Like, where would sports and hip hop be without Compton? Nowhere. They came and started beating everybody at such a young age with such a unique style, uncompromising, insistent, proud, excellent, achievement. I'm better than you.
For young female athletes, seeing, Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, all these powerful women that were in hip hop, and it just was very relatable. One of the hardest jobs, I'm sure, in entertainment is being a woman in hip hop and trying to make your way in a very male-dominated industry.
Women in hip hop and women in sports, we're defying the odds. We're doing what they say we shouldn't. But most of all, we're living the dream. We're living outside the box. These 4 lines that people try to put us in, we're able to persevere and commandeer and make our way onto the stage.
Fighting for dignity, that's something that is very relatable for female athletes. From the time they start playing sports, they've always had to justify their presence. And it was the same for women in hip hop. The strength of their voices is something that young female athletes can definitely relate to.
Hip-hop was rooted in young athletes' DNA.
Pop and lock, booyah.
And media began to showcase black excellence on 24-hour replay.
Alongside Rich Eisen, I am Stuart Scott.
Coming up,
when you talk about media and you talk about hip-hop and sports, like Stuart Scott is always going to be one of the first names mentioned.
Booyah!
Stuart Scott was a completely alien voice and personality because he didn't sound like other folk.
Swoops, there it is. All the bell where the party at. Swoops, there it is.
Every time you watch Stuart, you were just waiting on some, slang, some catchphrase that only Stuart could deliver in that way.
Call Canerkel butter, because he is on a roll. You go, girl.
That's how we talked. And it was great to see on a platform like ESPN, somebody who represented us, who just, was like cool big cousin that was up on SportsCenter talking about sports in a way that was very relatable to people who look like him.
The big 7'1", 330-pound brother who strides up court like this after bringing down the house.
That was it. And Stuart knew that, and he wanted to do that. And he was bold enough to, once again, we go to the theme of defiance. He had to defy some producers, I guarantee you.
Even though he faced a lot of pressure internally to be different, he never changed. That he was going to bank on the culture more so than the people who were against the culture. And that meant a lot.
Cool as the other side of the pillow. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Got his PhD, his player hater degree.
So he just became just another symbol, like wedded to this hip hop and sports movement.
In 1995, Kevin Garnett went directly from high school to the NBA. Kobe Bryant went directly from high school to the NBA. Tracy McGrady went directly from high school to the NBA. These were especially young men. And so as these young individuals are coming into the league, they're bringing the culture with them.
With the first pick in the 1996 NBA draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Allen Iverson from Georgetown University.
This is one I've been waiting to get to.
Iverson has Jordan. The crowd is into it. Allen shades free, gets two!
When you talk about black culture, and you talk about hip hop, and you talk about sports, I know for a fact that there's no more important athlete than Allen Ezel Iverson.
Iverson against Gill, the crowd on its feet. Allen for the win! Yes!
Yo, Allen Iverson had the braids, you know what I'm saying? He was the bomb, and he was shitting on dudes. And more amazingly, he did it in those ugly Reeboks. You gotta be a living icon to turn Reebok into something, yo.
I rock the A6, my new kicks. Take a few hits, it ain't nothing, I'm used to it.
Allen Iverson is the closest thing to Tupac Shakur. I got goosebumps saying that. He is unapologetic. He refused to be something he's not. Nobody had the heart of Allen Iverson. He sacrificed his whole body, falling on that floor left to right.
Allen Iverson forced sports to accept hip hop.
We sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
A dude with braids, tats, big chains, big hats. And they did not want to let him be hip hop in the NBA, but he was too good, he was too unapologetic.
Has the image of the league changed? The league got younger. We went from afros to cornrows, more tattoos and the like. So as we got to be a younger league and a league sort of reflective of a younger culture, the image of the league changed.
That's when the NBA had to come and, put a dress code, to the league, because Allen Iverson was shifting culture.
It's official. The NBA has a dress code policy beginning this season. Players must dress in business casual attire during any team or league business, so expect to see sport jackets and slacks rather than throwback jerseys and t-shirts.
I challenge people to go back and read articles, what people were saying about Allen Iverson.
They're still trying to get away from the image that this is a league of thugs. They don't want their players looking like rappers. They want them looking like the people that are buying tickets.
Allen Iverson took so many proverbial bullets for being himself.
You can put a suit or a shirt and tie on a bad person, still gonna be a bad person. So I just think it's a bad idea.
You know what? I want reparations for Allen Iverson, because he got in so much trouble for that. I think they were fining him $15,000 a day for just wearing what we would call street gear.
I should be able to wear what I want to wear.
Hip hop was still the stepchild that wasn't getting the attention and the love that it deserved. So hip hop style was looked on as something to be shunned. It's gonna alienate fans. So they tried to legislate Allen Iverson's fits out of the game.
The NBA wants to turn its back on the culture it embraced, bang, and get rid of it.
Why?
Dollars.
Enemies of the culture tried to conquer and divide, but a park in Harlem was a sanctuary where the pillars could survive.
Back in 2003, Jay-Z reached out to me. This was his swan song. He was about to drop his last album, the Black Album, and that was gonna be it. Jay-Z was about to retire. But being a big basketball fan, he wanted to take a team to the Rucker tournament. And it came down that the big anticipated rivalry was going to be Jay-Z's S. Carter team versus Fat Joe's basketball team. Fat Joe was a ferocious basketball fan.
I was #1 at the time, one of the biggest rappers in the world. And so I'm using that to bring all the NBA players.
What do you expect from your players? I mean, what kind of attitude they got out here, man? What you think is gonna happen?
I just want them to go at each other, man. Whatever it is, whoever it is, man. I just like to see big heart, man.
LeBron James had just come out of high school. He was about to join the NBA. He was about to play. It was Tracy McGrady playing, Stephon Marbury.
I had Zach Randolph, Stoudemire, Carmelo Anthony. And then hiding in the hotel, I had Allen Iverson and Mike Bibby. And then comes the day of the championship. There's 30,000 people in the park. It only fits 500. There's lines down 20 blocks.
We are in the midst of what appears to be a colossal and history-making blackout.
And so it's 100-something degrees in New York City. Every now and then you get a blackout.
People trapped in elevators and buildings. They have activated the emergency command center.
And so we didn't have no power to play the game.
Mayor Bloomberg's advice is to go straight home.
Next day was scheduled. And so we went out there and the Jay-Z bus came, but no players came out the bus. Now all my players are on the court warming up. It was like 2 hours, 3 hours, and then the legendary Greg Maris, he told me, yo, it's a forfeit. Yeah, out here they didn't show up, so we left and we won the chip.